Welcome everyone to another webinar on Meridian for higher ed. We're going to talk about searches today. In other words, find your documents, as the title alludes. Most of you know how to find your documents in Meridian, but you might not be aware of some of the search capabilities and that are available to you in your configuration. So let me Today, we're going to run through some searches, as I mentioned, and we're going to talk about three different ways of looking at your documents in different applications. So we're going to go through Power. We're going to talk about quick find there. That's a single property value search. It's simple, but it does result in many documents retrieved from your search, not as refined. We're going to do the find tool, which is formerly known as advanced search, or for those of you that have had Meridian for a while. And that's where you can use any of the property values. You can set conditions like equals, contains, isn't blank, things like that. And you can save them and you can create collections. And we're going to do that both. I'm going to show you how it looks in Power Web and in Power User, the desktop client, because a lot of our higher ed implementations, you don't really use the web yet because of the IntelliWizards integrations. We're also going to take a look at Explorer. Explorer is the search, view, print tool, as everybody knows. So it's already searching, set up to search, but you can do save searches and collections in there as well. And there's a way to do sort of an advanced search similar to what you have in Power. And without going any further, I'm going to shift. We're going to shift gears and do the demo. We're going to jump right in. There's not a lot of slides, which makes everybody happy, I'm sure. I want to verify if someone raise your hand or if you can see my screen still. Meridian Power. Actually, if you could maybe confirm that for me.
Yes, I can.
Thanks. Sometimes the screen sharing flips on you when you switch from PowerPoint, so I want to make sure everyone can see it. So this is Meridian Power. This is what most of us still refer to as Power Web. This is the web-based version of Vault. This is the Accruent Demo Cloud, so it might look a little bit different in lingo for those of you that have higher ed vaults, but the components are the same. So I want to hit on the biggest thing of you already have navigation views in your systems, and those basically are a form of a saved search. It's a pre-filtered view of things, so it's already running kind of a search and culling out things that don't meet certain criteria. But what happens in your world when you have one of these? You're the user, maybe you're a technician, a lead tech that needs to search for warranty documents for certain buildings all the time. And you can use one of these nav views for sure that's already created, but you always have to refine what you're looking for or what you want to retrieve. That's where these searches are. That's the power of these searches. That's where they're valuable, is when you as one person are constantly searching for the same thing over and over. If one person in your organization is doing that, it might be worth it to see if others would benefit from that same type of search. And then maybe that's where the navigation views come in and one of those gets created. But if it's just one person, one or two people out of, 25, 50, that's your business process and decision making to see if you need to create a nav view, rather than create one every time a person wants a list or a pre-filtered view or a search, and this goes for Explorer as well, they can set up these searches and use these tools to do that instead. So it's really more efficient, especially if you don't have administrative rights to come in and create any of those. So that was the side note that I needed to go down first. So first, this quick search is the simple search, as we all say. You can click the button here, the search all text properties, and you can, if you don't fill anything in, it finds, oh, this goes to advanced search. Pardon me, I'm gonna go back. The pull down in this quick search, you can, this is where it's configured is on the admin side, but you can come in and you can search all text properties, and maybe you want to say ASD-EA and do a search. And notice it just picked that one property. You'll get a return of quite a few results if you simply do this. If you know, like maybe your file name, and that's exactly what you're looking for, this is the best way to use that quick search, in my opinion. The advanced part of this in here, you can always come to this search here too, and you can say find. And it brings up a more sophisticated dialog box. And this is, again, Power Web, and this is a non-higher ed configuration, so some of the properties may not make as much sense. But the concepts are the same. In the advanced search here, you can come in and you can pick from all your properties, and you can set your conditions here. Usually when you have a specific property that you know is based on a drop-down list or a table entry, you want it to equal that. And if you hit equal, you'll be able to pick the values over here. So I'm looking for anything that is an as-built book, and I add it to the list. So this is your list down here that comes up. And you can also come in and refine it even more. You don't want every as-built book under the sun. So maybe you want to go by building, not building. Maybe a functional location. I think you get the point. You can add to this list here, and you can say, I wanted to, if you leave this box unchecked, it's an or situation. If you check the box, it's an and situation. So and. So both of these must be met. So you can switch that off and on. You can go by folder. You can come in and refine which document types you would like to search on. I only want to search maybe in these project documents. And then you can even go to the reference level. If you want to make sure it returns any XREFs or anything that has references in it or hybrid parts, this is where you want to check that. You simply hit find now, and it should bring up, and funny, it's not going to bring up anything here. It would bring up maybe something that you found. I'll take that one off. Apparently there's nothing in this vault that meets that criteria. We'll have better luck when we go into a higher ed vault. This is manufacturing. But in Power, you can also come in here and do it on this screen here. And you can save those in here as well by doing a collection. The first time you run it, it actually comes in and it saves this as just search results, so that when you're in your navigation views, it'll stay here until you log out of the system. In Power User, it displays a little differently. We're going to switch to that now, simply because I'm on that track. So this is the desktop client. This is what most of our higher ed implementations are used to using. I don't have the most current version up on the screen. I was having some problems. So I'm in 2020 R2 for reference. There might be slight variations in 21, probably not as noticeable for those of you that know the system. So in In Power, again, you have the quick search. This is this tool here where you can come in and you can just say, I want to find everything that is discipline. You can only use these 4 conditions, and then you can come in and pick which discipline you'd like. When you have a very large vault, this is going to, again, bring in many, many, many results. It might not be the best thing to use when you have a giant vault. If you're querying things by maybe a start date or something like that, it might be more logical. Instead, I urge people to use the lovely magnifying glass or the find tool. And you can simply click that and it brings up this dialog box. And it's similar to what I just showed you in Power Web. In some cases, this is where your power lies in Meridian. So when you're doing an advanced search, the what and the where, there's the tabs. So what and where, what are you looking for? Are you looking for something in a particular folder? And it will go to the folder if you are in a current nav view. If you're in the folder view, it will keep it at the folder up here because I have a scope on. Pardon. So I'm up here in the folder view, which I don't recommend everybody uses. We like nav views, right? But you come in here and notice there isn't a folder because you're in the root of the vault. What I usually do, if I'm searching, I like to search across the entire vault. But if you're searching based on a folder level, and that's how you're specifying where you want to look, you can do that. I usually pick this vault. I must have cleared this out. I like to leave this blank, but it's helpful to know that you could put the file extension here if you want to only retrieve the PDFs or if you're looking for DWGs. Anything specific there that you want to refine by, I encourage you to use that. Now, if I were to just search here, it's going to retrieve everything. So we're going to refine our criteria down. And this is where you can add those property values and add multiples and add conditions. So if you want to search across architectural and electrical, you can add or you can double click the box. And you can say, okay, well, I want to actually, I'm looking for things that equal library. I want this building name, but I also would like to retrieve anything for that building. So you can select multiple buildings. You can select multiple disciplines, classifications. I am looking for maybe closeout documentation. So I want any closeout documentation, anything that has the classification of closeout for these 2 buildings. And then I think, oh, well, I'm looking for actual closeout information. I want to refine this even more. You can go to your document types and you can pick the document type you would like to search. You'll know when you're doing your search where you're looking. You know what your contents are. So I know that closeout documents are never in this sustaining doc type. So I'm not going to pick that. So you can refine that way. There's that references field again. And this is where you can save this search. So if you're setting this up so that you can use this again, you could search you could save this search here and say this one, I'm gonna do, I'm just go ahead and save this just so you can see that I've saved this criteria. If I'd like to go backwards, I can always pick a previously saved criteria. Let me double check, because I like to double check what I'm doing every time I create a search. The what and the where, yep, I'm gonna be in this vault. Do I really want all of these criteria to be met? Does it have to be the Norland Library and Old Main, or can it be Norland or Old Main? That's where you change these here. If I set all of these criteria and I ran this now, I'm not going to find anything. And so you're going to be a little frustrated when you realize that there's something wrong with your search. And this does take practice to remember to come back, which is why I double check. So if I pick any of these criteria and hit find now, you notice I get a lot more documents. There's 69,742. This might not be the best, most refined search because I'm going to get so much stuff, but it's a good example. But I'm going to come in here to this search settings again because I already saved it without that checkbox. And I'm going to save again. You can overwrite and save the search. So that's if you want to keep those in here to be able to come in and load them again. So if I know that I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, okay, I'm always looking for these things, like this one. I'm going to load this search. Actually, click new search. Yes. I'm going to load this search up and notice now that my what and where is different. My more criteria, my classification is now environmental compliance. And I can do that search, which apparently I have something wrong again. Yes, see, I missed it again. So I did my search and now I'm saying everything for Norland, everything Old Main, anything that meets this comes in for those. Again, you're gonna have to practice and really refine how you want things searched, but I wanted to be able to show you just how to fill in the boxes and how to create them. So we're gonna do a new one. And when you reset your search, it clears everything. We're gonna come in and I'm gonna find and I'm gonna say, I wanna come in the entire vault because I'm gonna look for DWG files in the entire vault because I am looking for very specific DWG files. And I'm gonna come in, again, I'm in charge of maybe a certain building. So I'm gonna come in and do this so that I don't have to keep searching for the same building every time I come in. I can come in and just preload this. I know that my classification that I'm always looking for drawings, whether they be and let's just pick discipline. And your discipline, I'm gonna say, and you can play with these, you know your data, electrical. And I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and find now. And there's 8,000 documents. And it found not only, found DWGs, it found the Norland Library, it's classification of a drawing and it's electrical. Well, I know that I'm only looking for maybe project and sustaining because anything in planning is too early in the process. I don't really need to know of anything in there. see if that refines it at all. That only took a few out. I'm going to do references. So if there's any XREFs, it will include high-road parts and any references. And then I can save this. You can also come in here and do it as a, I'm sorry, my brain just blanked. You can save it to your search results, and that's on your navigation view. So if I add, you can only do so many. So you need to refine. You could, if you have it refined enough, you can add it to your search results. Your search results do reset, so those aren't there in perpetuity. So that's where you come into collections. And those are really great if you're gathering information for, say, a new project. Say you're a project manager and you're gathering information so that you can compile something in a zip file to send to your new AE, so they have some background information. So we'll do a collection. If you come into this Save As button, let me uncheck. Let me refine this a little bit. My mouse is being silly. Let's see what we get. Okay. Sorry, people, I'm just trying to refine this. My saved one didn't go as planned. Good enough. So I have this search, and it's here, and I found, we'll just highlight a few. You can highlight a few and add to a collection as well. So I found the documents I would like to add to my collection. And a collection has two options. There's a static collection and there's a dynamic collection. A static collection is a saved list of document names. A static collection can be created as a new empty list or with results of a search. So you could set up a collection ahead of time, or you could do it this way. The individual documents can be added to the collection manually. So if you find one later, you can add it, and you can also remove. But any new documents that are created in the vault that match the criteria that you use to search for this collection, they won't be automatically added in a static collection. It is what it is. It's also where your My Search results are pretty similar. It's kind of a static collection. So when you're creating a collection, keep in mind that static means it is what it is. It's the list as it is. You can add to it, but things won't automatically be added when they meet the criteria. That's great for when you're doing this kind of a data gathering kind of exercise, when you want to send things maybe to an AE. If you're creating a collection because you want to be able to click on it and see things that meet that criteria at any given point in time, a dynamic collection is what you want to create. A dynamic collection, it's dynamic. It's kind of living. So it saves search criteria. It doesn't save the results, but it's reevaluated when you visit the collection, when you view the collection. So it's almost as if you're just running the search again and retrieving documents. It's a saved search, basically. But a collection can be shared. So you could share it with everyone. That's dangerous territory because it means everyone can use this. But a dynamic collection is a living, breathing thing almost, where you can do this. You can manually add documents to the collection that don't match the search criteria, but I don't recommend doing that. I just wanted to click that advanced tool so that you can see that there are ways that you can add and subtract from static collections if you were doing this. But I'm just going to create a dynamic collection and close this. And I wanted to show you now on your navigation views, down here toward the bottom, you have the symbols for collections. You have my search results, which is basically a static collection, but you also have your collection down here that you can view at any time. It does not put them in any kind of a folder structure. They just hang out. So that's the difference too between a nav view and your collection, is that your nav views will make it look virtually like a folder structure. Your collection, the documents just hang out. And so you can't easily see where they belong unless you start manipulating your columns for your navigation pane here, so that you can kind of see where they come from. So if you wanted to make these a bit different, you'd have to rearrange your columns here to be able to easily see data in a way that makes sense if you have too many files. As I mentioned, those can be shared with other users, but I want to caution you against doing a lot of that because you might think it's useful, but then people come in and can see them and they don't really know what they're for. So please just keep that in mind. You can also manage your collections or your saved searches. By coming to the Vault menu and clicking on Collections here, and you can come in and you can delete them or rename them. You can do a couple things and look at some of the property filters that you have set through this menu. You can't really modify here, so as much as those dynamic panes when the screen originally pops up, you can modify some of the things here. So say I said, okay, well, my discipline, I need to not have that. You could manipulate some of this. You can also create a new static collection here. You can create the collection here, and if you're going to group things, so that you can then, as you roll through, and you say, okay, well, I found a document. This document I would like to add to a collection. You can then just easily right-click, see the document, and you can add it to a collection. But keep in mind, you can only do static collections there. One second. When you're in your dynamic collection and you have your property filters over here, those are those auto pages I mentioned when I edit it when I clicked it on the vault through the vault menu. You can also get to those pages here. If you highlight the top, the root of your collection, here's your property filters here. And you can change those settings here as well. And notice I added criteria, and it's basically running my search again. So instead of going through this search menu, you could use your collection to refine your search a little bit further if you'd like. Pardon me, there we go. Where to go next? I'll show you that menu one more time. Anytime you want to reset, there's always a new search option here, but so it clears everything out so that you could come in and you could say, okay, I want to go back to that one, and you load the search and then it puts things back. So there's the power of using the searches and the saved searches and collections in Power User. As I mentioned, navigation views are great, but for certain types of users in here, they might really only want to, they don't want to have to come in and click through everything and try to look through all of the folders to find what they want. A saved search can save you time because you're coming in and maybe your job is to update, to review contracts, new contracts that come in that you save in Meridian or something like that. Then you can set up a search to easily run that query by using a dynamic collection or a saved search to come in and see maybe your new documents that maybe appeared that you didn't know were there. So many ways to use the saved searches and collections that it's hard to narrow it down to one or two scenarios. But I urge you to come into your system with your data that and what you're looking for 9 times out of 10 and play with this in here in Power to really see what would be useful for other people. If someone is constantly coming to you looking for things because they don't see them, teach them advanced search and have them practice with this so that you can empower them to be independent, which is what the purpose of the system is. So that was Power User and Power Web. I'm going to mention to my counterpart real quick who's helping me out behind the scenes. Should I cover anything else or hit on it one more time? My expert searcher is here with me. Cool. Awesome. So that's Power User in a nutshell. I know it's a lot more complicated, and you can definitely make this very complicated in your searching by adding criteria. You can do any criteria. You can make it what you need it to be. So let's go to Explorer, the already there search tool. It's already configured to run a search. This is not contributors, as you all probably know. This is read-only. you're looking for documents. And this really is the more powerful way to search for things as a power user anyway, for me, in my opinion. In this example, we have views that are already configured. This system, has been in use for, I don't know, at least 6-7 years. I don't know, but it's been in use for a while. So we already have established views, which are already a search. It's already searching. It's already a filtered view of something. So when you pick on sustaining here, that's already the doc type that it's searching. It's starting the search based on that document type. So I'm going to go to projects because we have two views here. We have one that says all project documentation and closeout documents. Now, if I know that I'm only looking for closeout documents, I could start here. But if I don't know that, I'm going to go to all projects. And again, it's already a search. That's, the main purpose of Explorer. So you can totally use the configuration that's here and use your form search, which hopefully everyone's sort of familiar with, is that this is based on your metadata properties in your Power Vault. So you can come in and use these, but there's also advanced options on the form search page by these little arrows here. This looks familiar. This looks like the advanced search that we just looked at, but it's pre-populated with this criteria here. So again, if you'll notice, it's building name info multi, and it's pull down list. So it says exact value, part of text. You get the gist. When you come here, it's writing it out, and it's an and scenario. So if you want to play around with this just on your form search, you're more than welcome to do that. You can come in and you can manipulate this on this side. You can say, I want it to be contains wildcard. Maybe you want to add a property from the pre-configured list, but you can come in here and you can change what this property is. You can say, I really want to search on 2 buildings. I know that you have a complex, say you have a complex, and you want to, come on, don't make me, there we go. I happen to know that they have an engineering complex. So I'm saying in this one, I want it to be the electrical wing, and I want everything is also the civil and enviro ring, and I'm going to do a search. So on the previous, when you first come in, you can only pick one building, right? In this particular view with the little arrows, the advanced options, you can pick multiple buildings. You can also change it to an or. So if you want to search for 2 classes and say, I already did, it's anything that has metadata for both of these buildings, because in this vault, we can pick multiple buildings. But now I'm saying, well, I really want this class. I want things that are, I want to look at bid documents. And then I also am looking for anything or equals, and this is silly. I don't know why you would do bid documents and, well, I don't know, closeout, but you could. Anything, so these, and then these 2 is the or. So you're getting results. I'm still getting a ton of results because I'm searching a lot of documents in the projects, but you can refine it from here. So I can get it set up, come back, these search results are still here, and then I can say, well, actually, I think it's chill water. Or I'm probably not going to find anything, but maybe I will. Oh, I did. So it refined it down from that 10,000 down to 390 documents. So you can come back and forth. It does reset it, but it keeps your your results. A lot of people don't know that this tab, this little toggle exists in this search. And this is form search, where you can come in and do this advanced type scenario. A word was escaping me. And I mean, you can search, you know, any of these views if you have them enabled on your vaults. I prefer form search because to me it's like shopping. So online shopping is great. But you can do all of those advanced functions here. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, if you came in, and I should have probably done this, but we will come in and we'll kind of reset this. I'm going to pick 2 different buildings again because I wasn't doing it on the fly. So I'm going to say I want it to be civil, and I also want it to be mechanical. I can save this. So if I went through and I manipulated this search to be, I'm just going to say equipment. We'll see what happens. Nothing in that class. Probably the thing that I'm about. How about outages? Outages are good. No, well, maybe not. Holy moly. Know the data. That's the thing about this side of the search while I'm thinking about pointing this out. When you're on the default search for form search, it doesn't lead you to these dead ends. In here, you can be led to a dead end as you're seeing me click. Both of those. Oh, because I'm saying and probably. There we go. All right, we'll save this. So I was looking, you know, I want to keep up to date on these 2 buildings and anything that comes in as a meeting. You can save this search. And this is where the key is for this application as well, is these saved searches are for you. So if there's not a view that's refined enough and you keep coming into this search and saving and clicking the same items, you can save this. And you can name it whatever you want. And you can actually show the filters. You can see, you know, you're on here, but you can look at it. So I'm going to save that, and it says that this search has been saved. You can do that here too. If you come in to, like I mentioned, if you are, say you're in charge of this Administrative Research Center on East Campus. This is the building you always come in. You're in charge of making sure that the warranties are great or whatever. You can come in and you can set this up and say, well, I know that I'm going to want this, and I'm always looking for O&M manuals, you know, for this particular building. And I always have to come in and I have to click these things again. Save your search. Save your search. Because then when you come into Meridian the next time and you're on your home page, you can click this Save Searches area, and you can easily say, oh yeah, I'm looking for all the O&Ms here. And it's already here, and you can then refine even more if you would like. That is a pretty powerful thing, to be able to basically create. I'll go back here. You have your nav views. These are just how they look up here. You're creating nav views for yourself, for lack of a better term. You're creating what you need to be more efficient at finding what you're looking for. Like this one. I saved this search. I came in, I was actually in, let me go back so you can see. I actually started that one in a maintenance and operation building tech documents, I started that save search from here. So this was already searching, basically, and weeding out anything. So let me click on that for you. When you come into that one of those navigation views, if you're not familiar with how this all works, when we configure the system with you, or you configure it yourself when you're awesome and smart about the system, you create what you want to search on. So let's just pick a couple here and search. You created this filter already. So the filter to start with was buildings. So anything that is a building, not a site, that's their two differentiating factors. And then the technical documents. So there's a criteria in the search already, refining it to just those two things. And then you come and refine it some more. So when you come in here and you do this and you save it, you're essentially saving, how many steps here? I'm coming in, I know it's a project document, I know it's in here, I know I'm click, 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 search, nope, still not right. You find the one that you like and you save that puppy so that you can come in to Meridian, save search. I know that I always need to see the latest and greatest O&Ms because I'm always repairing something in this building, and I can come in here and it's already there. Instead of 5 clicks, you had 1, maybe 2, if you count which page you're on. This is the power of Explorer searches and refining and getting people to understand how to use them so that they're not coming back to you, say you're the point person for Meridian or the point people. Maybe there's a couple of you. I see based on attendees, I know all of you are, right? Like the people that I recognize from the list, you are the people that get asked, hey, how do I find this? Hey, can I create, hey, I'm looking for this every time. Can we just create a view? No. This is where your business process comes in. You think about the why. Why do we need to create this? Is this something that is valuable for the masses? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's, configuring major pieces of software, it's business process and the needs of the many. If 1 or 2 people are always asking for a nav view, show them how to do a safe search. In essence, that's their own personal navigation view based on something else. I mean, you can start anywhere you want. If you want to start with all documents, go for it and make your own. But these are created in your system to already help people quickly find a certain type of thing, right? So in this case, I'm using a vault that they maintain these things called trades floor plans. So for their maintenance and operations, obviously, they have something called trades floor plans. Well, they knew that people would just come in and want to look through these. And yeah, there's only two properties on this form search. But what if I wanted to search for 2 buildings? Maybe I am the guy in this engineering complex. They're interconnected buildings. It's basically one big building with wings, wing 1, wing 2, but they're all connected. So the HVAC is connected, things like that. Come in and do your advanced and add 2 buildings and do your search. That's a saved search, okay? So that is a saved search. So you can keep those here. Basically, your own personal navigation views. You can also, let me get back to where I can find something so you can see it. You can also create collections in Explorer, okay? And these are similar to that's a weird name. These are similar to Power User with static and dynamic. You can come in and you could actually do your search first. I don't know how many, but I'm kind of nervous about some of this. These are closeout documents. So one thing to point out in case you weren't following along very closely is that I picked the navigation view projects closeout documents, which is here. So notice I can't pick classification because it's already, this is the classification is closeout, but I can refine here. So I'm just going to do that. I don't know how many I'm going to have. Awesome, just one, perfect. You can execute your search and highlight the results or result, and you can right click and you can add to a collection. So if you're gathering maybe information for your EH&S department and they're not on here and they just want to know, you know, that you've done your job and here's, I need to send a bunch of documents to someone. I need to download them so I can send them through here. You can add to your collection. So you can come in and you say add to collection, and I did that through the right click menu. I'm gesturing like you all can see me with my hands. Right click menu and select, I can add it to an existing collection or I can create a new one here. So if I create a new one, oh, these are dynamic, they're not static, I'm sorry. These are dynamic, these are our, I get a little turned around sometimes. I'm going to create a new collection, 11R1, and you can make it private or you can share it. Private for you, shared everyone, okay? Everyone can see this collection when they go to that collections page, if you do share. Again, personal preference. I'm doing this for me. I'm creating a private collection. And here on this options page, this is where you could include any references. So if I selected a file that had a reference and it didn't come back in my results, you can do this and it will include it in your collection without you having to go find it. This is important when you start using references, not only as most people understand references as external references in AutoCAD, but in Meridian, you can create a reference between an O&M, a document, like a PDF, and maybe the warranty is separate. Maybe they pulled the warranty out or the drawing that it ties to. You can create a reference there to link those documents together. So if you do this, it's just drawings, okay? Not the other ones. I think I went in a circle there, apologies. But I'm gonna create this collection. It's only one document for right now, but I know I'm gonna need to go search for other ones, okay? So I've added that. So if I go to my collections page, here's that webinar 1 collection, and here's my results. Again, you can come to that tab and create and do all kinds of stuff if you like. But the beauty of this is that if, say, I don't want it in the collection anymore, I can come in and I can remove it from the collection here. I can also edit the collection from the right click and make it, you know, a shared collection. I don't know why you would, maybe you mistakenly said, oops, I really was making this for all the users. Maybe you have a small group of users and you were making one for them. But the beauty of the collection is also that, say, okay, so that was Pennsylvania Avenue. I now need Grandview. I can come in and I can do this again and I can say add to collection and I can tell it where to put it. You can also, they don't have to meet the criteria. The collection of documents can be different criteria. A collection is not a search. A collection in Explorer is just a collection. So there's the slight difference, I guess, between Power User and Explorer. In Explorer, a collection is more like it's a static thing, a static collection. It's a list of files. This doesn't have search criteria tied to it. It is just basically, for lack of a better idea, it's a file folder where you've made a copy You didn't really, because we all know Meridian doesn't make copies because that's bad. In a paper world, it's like you made a copy and put it in your own personal folder so that you could easily just go reference it later. That's what these collections are in Explorer. It's not a search. So this content is not going to change. There's no criteria. I do believe that if someone in Meridian updates a drawing or a document that you have in your collection to the next revision, I do believe it will pull in that information. It doesn't stay static at revision 1. Don't quote me on that one because I haven't tested it thoroughly at this moment, and I got a little turned around in my memory. So collections are useful for when you're gathering information, that you're going to download to someone else. So then you're going to, maybe highlight these 3 because you made this collection and you're going to download them. That would be what a collection would be great for. If you are gathering different documents that have different metadata properties that you want to gather together, that's what a collection is great for. I flip back to this documents tab. Notice I can still come back. I can be on the collections, but I can still come back here and search easily by clicking these 2 toggles. Reset, going through my list. Save searches, awesome. I think I've covered a lot of it. As many of you maybe have spoken to me, you kind of understand I was an old Power user back in the day, and searching in Power User for me wasn't really necessary. Explorer, however, changed the game. Explorer really changed the I need to go find all these different files to zip them up and send them to so-and-so. Explorer is the way to do that because of the way that Explorer works. You're not messing with anything either. I will, while I'm at a pause moment, because we're pretty much done, I'll open it for questions. Searching is challenging to remember how you can do all this stuff. So feel free to go in and play around now that I've given you the ammunition to do it. You can't break anything. And save searches are easy to delete, by the way. And only you see them anyway. So open it for questions. I don't see any. All right. I will hand it back over to Ashley for our closing out. And right, I see a hand raised. Mr. David Jacobs. That's a name I haven't seen in a long time. You have a question. Please type it in there. I'll hold on for a second. Ashley, that's a question for Ashley.
Yeah, you'll have, I'm sorry, David, you'll have to type that question out. We don't have this set up so that we can unmute our attendees. Sorry about that.
okay, David. And then if it's something, you know, pertinent to everybody else having questions, we'll certainly share it if it's great information. But yeah, David, you know how to get a hold of me, so go ahead and reach out. And I guess we're all wrapped up. And Ashley, I think we can wrap it up and all.
Okay, great. Yes, we can. If you think of questions later on, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you receive from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Jennifer or your sales rep to get your questions answered. Once again, a short survey will pop up as we close down, and we do thank you for filling that out for us. It's just 4 quick questions. And also a reminder that tomorrow you should receive an email which will contain a link for this recording so you can watch at a later date. We thank you so much for attending and have a great day, everybody.